guys, how's it going? Today we are going to get some planting done. We've got some heuchera, hydrangeas, and a chase tree, a new variety coming out next year, 2025, that I'm excited to get in the ground. But before we do that, I want to run into the back area. I want to give you an update on what Chad is doing back there because he's made some tremendous progress. So in the area behind the barn here, you can see Chad has been working on the lane and the area right behind the barn. So just clearing it out, cleaning it up, leveling it. He has put down a bunch of base, like a road base right here. And right now he's in the water chuck and he is wetting it down, just settling all of the dust, settling all the dirt. And in the end, we'll have a nice gravel lane all the way around this space. Also, I'm gonna walk you all the way back to the red barn because he's done a lot of work back there. Oh, yep, you can see right here, this is where the base has stopped. And he's getting back in the skid steer now and is gonna bring in more, get this whole area done. I'm just so excited about it. But the area right to the left, so this space, has been really transformed. It was such a slope right here. And we just thought that this would be such a perfect area to put up our high tunnels. It'll be blocked from our neighbor's view on this side, and then on this side, it's pretty far away from our neighbors, but it will be blocked from them as well in very short order because we are gonna be planting up this space and all along the fence line. So it's just an area where they can be tucked in, but that meant that Chad brought in, I don't even know how many loads of soil and leveled it. Also, the area, I think we have a little video from when we gave you a tour of this spot, but this space right here, it basically came right out the back of the barn, and then there's like a little walkway where that trailer is, and then it dropped off. And there was really just unusable space here, so we thought, oh, wouldn't it be nice to be able to actually like pull something out of the back of the barn and have room, like a wagon. It's not big enough for a gator to come through, it's just a doorway. But wouldn't it be nice to be able to pull a wagon through and actually have space to, twirl it around or, whatever the case may be. So this spot needs a little bit more work. We're gonna do some cleanup of the weeds, of course, and then we're gonna level it, probably have a little bit more soil brought in, but this is getting really close. And we will have room then we'll have a little walkway here, and then we'll have our first high tunnel, which we will use like we use it now for kind of plant carryovers, for plants that need to be wintered over, or for plants that just need a little bit more protection through the summer months when it's super hot and they're still in their nursery containers waiting for their chance to get out in the garden. It takes the edge off and it really keeps things nice. So we'll be using one for that, and we actually bought two back when we bought that first one. We're gonna set that second one up next to it. So the one here, and then there'll be one just right parallel it. And that one I'm actually planning on planting straight in the ground, and that's where the heirloom mums are gonna go. I might try to do some Lysianthus to get some earlier blooms. Just a fun spot to experiment with things. And then right next to that, we'll have another area to line up trees that are waiting for, projects or other plants, that sort of thing. It'll just kind of be this open area for us to do that. And then right about where the pile of gravel starts, that will be flower bed, all of this. Like from, kind of where it starts to drop off a little bit more aggressively, all the way up to the gravel lane. So it's really quite a deep border right in here. So one of my first moves back here will probably be to put some evergreens in here so that our neighbors have something pretty to look at back here. Anyway, I just wanted to give you an update back here. It really is, although looking still just like a moonscape out here, it's coming along and I'm seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. There's just a tremendous amount of things that have to be done to get the infrastructure set up and to prepare it for the things that you want to use it for. At least if you want to do it in a way like Aaron does, which I would consider maybe the proper way. He really thinks through all the details of where you need conduit, where we're going to need things possibly in the future. And so he sets our property up for that, which is quite nice. He thinks through those things way more than I ever would. Or dropping some more base right now. And then real quick before we go plant, from this spot, because you can see the flags here, this spot over, we have sprinklers for grass. So grass on this side and grass on that side with shade trees. We decided to keep this 100% open, like from the hydrant over to where the white truck is, because of the Dream Stream expansion. It's not going to come back any further than the white truck is, but we wanted this open for staging. Like, when people bring in the big boulders and things, we have an area to plop all those things down. I can have my plant pile back here for, easy and quick access once we're ready to plant. We just thought it might be nice for people to be able to park things and such. Once that's done, then we can decide what to do with this space. And this spot has been really fun. You'll see bikes or skates over there. There's tennis rackets. We just got Benjamin a big boy bike over there. There's a little trike, basketball. At some point, we'll get a little shed to house all these things. But for now, it's just kind of chaos back here. It's a fun spot. Let's take the scenic route back to the gator. Up over the back side of the pond. Oh, I was noticing some beautiful water lily blooms from a distance today. There's a fish. They're totally trained now. Look at them. They're gonna start to mass together. Then they're gonna come after some food here in a minute. Let's go give them a snack. Koi crunchies. Look at them. There they are. Okay, I moved to a shady location a little bit further away from the backup beeps of the equipment back there to talk through these plants. Now, I do think that I said that this was a heuchera. It's actually a heucherella, and it's another new plant for next year. It's called Shadow Tag. And then our chase tree with these beautiful purple panicle blooms is called Rock Steady. And then our Pufferfish hydrangeas here, these are going to be like the whole, this is what you might find on a clearance rack at the end of the season sort of situation. I've had these since last year. They need to get out of their containers so bad. There's absolutely nothing wrong with these plants, even though it looks like there is. They just got burned in our severe heat and sun. They can take heat and sun, but not when they're in these little itty bitty containers when I've tried to stretch them 2 years in the same containers. I'm going to be planting them near some other pufferfish hydrangeas because I've got a spot for two more. I've got 3 here, and we'll sneak 3 in if we can. But the ones I have out in the landscape are just phenomenal, and I love them. So I'm excited to get those planted. They won't look great this year, but next year we shouldn't even notice a huge difference other than in the size of the plants. The ones I already have planted will be a little bit bigger. These will probably be a little bit smaller, but eventually they'll match each other. Okay, so our heucherella, let's take a look at this tag. It's called Shadow Tag. It gets about 10 to 12 inches tall, and it spreads out like 16 to 18 inches, and it gets bubblegum pink colored blooms, which I love. And heucherellas are a mix between a heuchera and a tiarella. We've done a video outlining the differences between those two, and maybe we can link it down below. But these do best when they're planted in a shade to part shade situation, but they can handle quite a lot of sun, at least this variety, to my understanding. Now, I have not put it through the test yet. We've had these in the high tunnel, and they've done great with just kind of like bright indirect light. But they are a zone 4 through 9, and they attract all the pollinators when they're in bloom, which is so fun. Okay, now this one, the chase tree. I have not tried this variety yet, but we have planted a different variety that did not come back after a winter for us. So I'm very much so looking forward to seeing how these do. They are a zone, I think 5 through 9. But I do know everything I read about these, they say in the north, which we are considered a northern growing climate, you need to treat them as a perennial. And in southern, more mild climates, you treat them as a shrub or a tree because they can get anywhere from 4 feet to 12 feet tall. And then the width, I want to say 4 feet to 10. I'm going to look it up just in case. 4 to 5 feet wide, 4 to 12 feet tall though. But in my case where they say treat it like a perennial, I'm wondering if they'll even get on the 4-foot side of things. So I'm going to position these like they're going to stay on the smaller side, just based off of my experience with another variety. And this one may react completely different than the other variety that we planted. I can't even remember the name of that one. I think I planted it in a video. But these bloom on new wood every single year. So even if in like a colder climate like ours, they die all the way back and then spring forth, they will still produce blooms. I mean, that's the kind of wood that they do want to bloom on. And they usually start blooming late spring and they go all the way through fall. Like they just keep pushing these panicles. You can see a little itty bitty one forming up right there. I just love the color. They kind of look like a butterfly bush in a way, but they have a little bit more of a lustery kind of green in their leaf instead of kind of a gray green like buddleia do. So I'm looking forward to that, to see what that brings to the landscape. And when I was reading about this variety, they test these. I mean, they are so thoroughly tested. It blew my mind when I learned about how they test some of these plants, but they put them up against a whole bunch of other popular varieties, and these outbloomed other varieties between 6 and 16 weeks longer than other varieties, which I find pretty incredible. Now the pufferfish variety, I feel like I should give you the stats in front of the nicer looking ones out in the landscape, because their blooms get way bigger than this when they're happy, and they grow 3 to 5 feet tall and wide, which I love. It doesn't, like, they don't get massive like some other varieties do, and they're zone 3 through 8. So let's just go ahead and head out there and get these planted first, and I will show you what they should look like. You see them kind of peeking out from behind all of these perennials. These look way better than what I was just showing you. Isn't that beautiful? I love how there's blooms so far down the side of the shrub, and it's just engulfing the whole shrub. Now these have a little bit of a burn on them just due to our, you know, over a month of 100+ degree temperatures. But for receiving that, I mean, they have no protection. These get this kind of hot sun all day long, morning to night. I think they're doing pretty darn good. But I thought, because there's 5 in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what if I did 6, 7, 8? Or we could do 1, 2 and leave a space open here for something with a little bit more vertical interest, which I think might be kind of nice to have here. And then we could put a 3rd in further on down the line, like right in here. I think that might be perfect. My goodness, there's some beautiful stuff. This Agastaki, this is the Blue Fortune. I just picked up more of this down at the garden center because, I mean, the bees, they just absolutely go crazy for this plant. Absolutely crazy. Okay, so we take one of these sad looking hydrangeas out, but you know, a lot of times this is what they look like when I see them in a clearance situation, and it's usually just like a water issue. They weren't watered properly, or they were kept in containers for way too long, and all they need is to get out. They need to get out, be planted, and just given time. I really like that. Oh, okay, let's grab this one. Oh. Okay, now I need like some small, beautiful tree to put in here. And the 3rd one. I'm glad we found space for all 3. Those need to get with it back there. They're kind of getting engulfed. I was hoping that they would get on the 5-foot end, and I think they just might need a little more time, but I'm so happy with this whole border. Let me tell you, things have just filled in. They look gorgeous. Little mini tour. We have the double Ringo, or Ringo double pink rather, rose right here. And there's a few more down the way. Supertunia latte. Isn't that beautiful in the ground? I am loving it. We've got Desert Plains Pennisetum. There are 3 of them in this bed, so a little bit of repeat. A ginger wine 9-bark, allowed to do its thing. Look how gorgeous it is. This, I can't remember if it's called Moonstone spruce. It doesn't get very big, and I love the icy blue color. We've got some perennial geranium. I think this might be the Roseanne variety. We never cut this one back. It could probably use it. We've got white swan echinacea through here, and an occasional pink one that just popped up. Lemon coral sedum. Kind of want to do more of that next year. I love the brightness it adds. There's the proudberry coralberry, which is just now starting to get some pink berries on it. Look at those. So fun. And there's Baptisia, a smoke bush, the Agastaki. This is Supertunia Mini Vista. Why can't I remember the name of this one? Pink vein or purple vein, something like that. And then we've got a pink Veronica. There are some iris in here that we had spring color with. We've got more of the hardy geraniums that we transplanted from another part of the garden. All the autumn joy sedum came from the back garden. We've got ground cover thyme in here, a caryopteris that's just looking gorgeous, and the bees love this one, and the sedum as well. This whole flower bed is just a pollinator, like pollinator's heaven. And then we have an Elizabeth rose right here to cap the whole thing. Oh, and lemon squeeze pennisetum. Aren't those awesome? Okay, before we plant, let's take a look at the roots. Honestly, not too bad. Look at that. They still look pretty good. It's not root bound. I think we'll be fine. And there's no smell. Oftentimes if they started to rot, which can be another thing if they're being overwatered, they can start looking kind of crummy like this. If you take the root ball out and it smells really swampy, I would maybe steer clear of things like that. Unless they look pretty good still plant-wise, I don't know. When things rot, they can go down pretty quick. All right, let's get these planted. feel good. And there they are, all planted, watered in, and looking beautiful. Way better than when they were in their containers, and now they have a chance to thrive out here with the others. Now I have to decide, should I put some small kind of evergreen? We do have a Vanderwolf pine. I don't really have much in this area that I keep up during the winter. Sometimes we'll keep the sedum up if it's still nice and tall in the fall. We do keep grasses up sometimes, but there's not a lot of little evergreens, so maybe something like that, or maybe a small ornamental tree with a little bit more canopy. Not sure. And there's the third one. This one gets a little bit more protection. You can see that right away, but I think it's going to fill in this area beautifully. I think we're going to go tackle the heucherella next. Okay. So I'm thinking that these heucherella would make a great sort of border plant right here underneath this birch tree near the chicken coop, right in the area where we just planted, well, dug up and transplanted this green, I think it's a green tower boxwood. Feels like I planted it so long ago, I can't even remember. But this area, I used to have, well, I still have Nepeta that's slowly dwindling out. I should move it to more sun. I had other things in here that were sun lovers, and just slowly, you know, the birch tree has gotten quite a lot bigger than when we first planted it. So we've got some lovely shade, which was the whole goal for our girls here. Hey girls. Hey girls. What are you two doing? Where's your friend? Oh, there she is. Hi. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, she's getting more feathers. This was the one that was all broody forever. She got to looking real rough. But your comb looks good. Yeah, more color in that. Do you guys want some mealworms? Would that make you happy? Probably make me happy if I was a chicken. Little mealworm break. Oh, they know what's coming, don't ya? Okay, let's go back out here, girlies. Come on. The one back there that's got more color, more copper on her neck, she's always a little more shy. Let it rain. And here is our reward. Thank you, girls. We have a good relationship. Give and take. Okay, these need to hang out here for a little bit. Anyway, I thought that these might be just a nice, peaceful looking plant right in here as a border. Let's try it. I really like them right here. Chad is just cruising back there. I wasn't sure if I would want them as kind of a hedge right here, but I think it's beautiful. And if we back plant it with something, so it's a little bit more, I don't know, it brings more structure to this space. It's kind of a fun look. And it will be interesting to see because this end gets a lot more sun than that end right there. And it's still filtered, you know, it's not getting like full on sun all day long. It's gonna get pretty much like morning shade, and it's not until, you know, like this part of the day. Like mid-afternoon, and then the sun will go behind the golden rain tree and it'll be shaded again. So it's not going to get a tremendous amount, but definitely more than the ones back in there, so we can see how they respond. But they kind of just look like little mounds of kind of lettuce to me. I don't know, I love it. And whenever I put anything in a line, it reminds me of my mom, because she always talks about how much she loves a good hedge. Like any plant can be made into a hedge. That's what we're doing today, hedge of heucherella. Let's get them in the ground. Oh, I love how these look right here. I love that having them in this straight line, well, it's curved, but you know, having them lined up with one another in a hedge form gives it the formality, which is ended with a more formally shaped evergreen. And then we can backplant with more flowy things and more groupings of things rather than lines. So this will bring the piece to the bed for me, and then the rest of it can fill in with other things, which I've got some great stuff we can put in here in this kind of part shade sort of situation. But that will be for another day. We still have the chase trees to plant. We're gonna go find some sunny spots for those. They are just so pretty. I just love them, and I hope they do well in our garden this time around. Oh, P.S. I thought I should probably address the drip tubing since it looks a mess. I pulled it back from this spot because it would have just been a pain to work around that, and we need to replace the drip in this whole area. That's why I've got a hose over here. In fact, I put this out here, the hose out here yesterday to slow drip this tree because the drip is just not working in this area as good as it used to, because I did this, I don't even know how many years ago. So anyway, we need to redo, so I just left it like this for now. It was nice just getting it out of the way. I wonder if we should try one of these chase trees near the pond. It's got kind of a neat mountainy look, don't you think? I think. Hold on though, traffic jam. Yeah, I think we can find a spot for 1, 2, or maybe 3 over here. We'll see. That's pretty. Oh my. I just noticed these are way more open than they were earlier. Look at that. My hand for size reference. Wow. So I've got these placed. I've got this one kind of out in the middle and nothing. There's a comet pine right there. And then this is a coralberry that's supposed to get quite wide, which could kind of go around the base of that. And then I've got one over on this side. I like it right there. There's a low growth sumac, a 9-bark. There's a buddleia right there. And then the third one, actually the first one I placed right here at the entryway. And I think this is beautiful, especially if we can kind of just expect it to get maybe like 4x4 at max in this area, because the Gara will go away. That's an annual Gara, so it'll be nice to have something else tucked up under here that will come back next year. Oh, I'm really happy with that. Let's get these planted. I decided I wanted an evergreen in the spot where I put this one, so we'll find a different location for the third one. Oh, I love this one so much. Chat is grating right now. That one's loud. Isn't that so bright though? The green is so bright. I love that so much. And then as we move this direction, you'll notice I took one back to the gator. I decided that I either want to come in with some kind of a low evergreen or just something different. I kind of like how right here, this little area kind of pulls you back. Like I kind of want like a little footpath through this area. And if I put something directly in the center, and I know I could have scooted it over, but I just wasn't feeling it. This one though, I think is really perfect right here. Marvel at these Caryopteris and the amount of pollinators that they attract. Okay, so we've got the one last chase tree to find a home for out in the south garden. And here's where I decided to put the third one, right along our lane, in between a North Pole arborvitae that's looking stunning and a birch tree. And just down the way, we've got the gorgeous drift of annuals. Boy, wouldn't it be amazing to do this combination all the way down? I think I've enjoyed this more than just about any other combination I've ever planted in the ground. I love it so much. And the blue of the chase tree looks really pretty with the Superbena. This is the cobalt. And then we've got Supertunia saffron finch, Angelonia super blue looking awesome as a backdrop. Little river of diamond frost through there. And this is a Supertunia tiara blue, new one for next year, along with the unplugged red salvia. There's the red dahlia, and there's a white Angelonia in there as well. super fun spot. And this just tucked in really nicely, so we'll see how it does out here. And while we were planting today, it's just fun to see the activity. It's fun to see the gravel trucks coming in and Chad working away behind the barn, knowing that that area is just soon going to be an area where we can start planting things like this, shrubs and trees and things along the border. It's going to be a fun spot to see evolve. And I love where everything ended up today. I'm so happy and kind of relieved to have those hydrangeas in the ground. Just one of those things I've been meaning to do and just haven't had a chance to do it yet. So happy that they're there, and they're probably happy as well. And then everything else too. Love the heucherella, love the chase trees. So we'll be giving you reports on how these plants are doing as we go along. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.